There's a debate in Congress as to what to do. My personal view is that you should give states the flexibility to take those dollars, not just the dollars in the exchanges and the subsidies for the exchanges, but also the dollars from the Medicaid expansion. Say, let's take that pot of money and let states set up their own alternative insurance markets where they deliver coverage to the uninsured. Because I think everyone agrees that there are different ways to peel the onion. You don't have to do it in the way that's prescribed by the ACA. But the ACA is very prescriptive and doesn't leave states with a lot of ways to refine or improve the model, or to come up with ways to deliver that coverage and that care that might be more appropriate for the constituents or the residents of their states. I actually agree with him in the sense that it's the Obama administration's fault that this mess was created. Because if the IRS had never issued that ruling saying that subsidies could flow through the federal exchange, which was never authorized by the law, then states would have actually had a big incentive to set up their own exchanges. The reason that 34 to 37 states haven't set up their own exchanges is because the Obama administration gave them a powerful incentive not to, by letting these subsidies flow through the federal government, for the federal exchange, excuse me. So to me, that was the mistake number one. And so if the Supreme Court rules that those subsidies were illegal, which would be the correct decision in my view, then yes, the resulting dislocation was caused by the action of the administration. However, because Republicans now control Congress, to whatever degree Congress wants to mitigate that disruption, if they do nothing, then in a sense they are responsible for the outcome, because there are different ways to minimize the disruption and transition those individuals to a better system. And so the question is, can Republicans agree on how to do that? Because there are differing schools of thought. Some conservatives say, don't do anything, let the disruption happen, it's not our fault. Others say, well, listen, we control the legislative branch. It's up to us to try to come up with a way to handle this problem. Let's do it. Let's allow states to have this alternative where they can take the dollars and use them for a different insurance market, or a differently structured insurance market. That's the approach I favor, because I think it would allow, to the degree that Republicans talk about repeal and replace, this is a way in a sense to replace Obamacare state by state. Because you give those dollars to the states, they can come up with the systems that work best for them. And I bet you they could do it for a lot less money, too. As Sam Alito hinted at the oral argument in King v. Burwell, it's possible that the Supreme Court could stay the implementation of their ruling until the end of the tax year, in which case subsidies for the 2015 tax year would not be disrupted. But for 2016, Congress would have to come up with a patch. That's one scenario that we could see play out. If so, that would give Congress some time to come up with a patch for the 2016 year and beyond. And we could see a combo of different things play out. We could see what Senator Ben Sasse, a freshman senator from Nebraska, has proposed, which is you have kind of a transitional period for 18 months, say, where subsidies are offered to individuals on these federal exchanges, but then those subsidies expire and Congress will have to take up again in the next Congress, effectively, what to do. It's a way of effectively punting until the next election how those individual issues should be addressed. To me, that's a less than ideal solution, because it'll still create a lot of uncertainty, both for states and for insurance companies, let alone for the people who are enrolled in these insurance plans. So if you do that, if you only have an 18-month transitional period, I think a lot of states are going to set up their own exchanges, because they're not going to be able to count on Congress to come up with some reform in 2017 that works for them. And so I think, as a Republican who wants to see an alternative to the ACA, there are perverse incentives in having a short-term patch that doesn't try to offer a long-term alternative to the ACA for those states.